Hi, everybody. Welcome to The List. I'm Patrick McIntyre.
And I'm Jessi Combs. We're here in England on another automotive mission. Of all the high-performance cars we've driven on this series, none of them come with quite as much mystique and understated character as the car we are about to drive.
I'm not sure if it's because it's the brand of choice for the most famous secret agent in history, or if it's because it's one of the more inconspicuous of the exotics, but there's something about Aston Martin that's always piqued my interest and had an air of mystery about it.
Well, there's only one way to unlock that mystery, and it's to get in and discover the facts, which is what we're gonna do today. So come along with us as we check Drive an Aston Martin off our list.
I've had a love affair with cars my whole life. I build them in my shop, and I race them both on and off-road.
I've spent years on the auto show circuit talking about cars, but now it's time to get behind the wheel and find the next adventure.
Together, we're setting out to tackle all things that every car enthusiast should do.
This is The List.
Few brands are as synonymous with exclusivity as Aston Martin. The cars are still built by hand in England, as they have been since 1921. While major car makers will produce hundreds of thousands of units per model, the most Aston Martin ever produced was about 4,000 units. When you get behind the wheel of an Aston Martin, you know right away that you're driving something special.
Well, it works.
Very well, I might say.
Our day with the V12 Vanquish, like the scenery on the M25, is sort of a blur. And not just because the car is so dizzyingly fast or because of the intermittent rain. In just a short time, we managed to explore narrow country lanes, cruise open highways, and we even got some track time at the famous Brands Hatch race circuit, all in an attempt to discover the essence of this handcrafted, high-precision machine. And it all started with a visit to the historic heart of the brand, the Aston Martin Works in Newport Pagnell.
The car you've been driving is, as you know, a Vanquish. And the Vanquish name originates from the car behind me. This is also a Vanquish, but was built at Newport Pagnell. And all the cars around this room are all its kind of ancestors, if you like. So there's a kind of lineage that starts off with this car here, the DB4, and runs all the way through these other models. So DB4 was launched in 1958, and it was the first car to be completely built at Newport Pagnell. And this car then became the DB5, which...
The classic Bond car.
The classic Bond car, made famous by Goldfinger, Thunderball. That car eventually, through a couple of different models, came to look like this one here. This is a 1970s Aston Martin V8. And if you look at the car, a lot of people say it looks a little bit like a Mustang.
A lot like a Mustang.
Yeah.
Like a British version of a Mustang, although this car was very high-end and sold for a lot of money. And eventually, 2000, the car was finally killed off by legislation, things like airbags and crumple zones and engine emissions. And then we launched the Vanquish. This car then ran all the way through until 2007. But of course, the people making these cars were the same people that made that car. And there were certain people that worked here in that period that literally started at the age of 15 as an apprentice making DB4 and kind of all the way through their careers right the way up to the early part of Vanquish. And that's pretty incredible, really.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that over all of those years, you basically have 3 significant body styles.
Yeah,
And that's
pretty
it.
much. That's pretty much it for 60-odd years at this site, really.
The centerpiece of Aston Martin Works in Newport Pagnell is the Heritage Workshop. Housed in the original 1958 factory, this is where vintage Aston Martins are restored to better-than-new condition by craftsmen using the same tools and techniques that built the cars 50 years ago.
This is really where the magic happens at Newport Pagnell, and it almost looks like we've gone back in time to the old days of the factory. They would have had a similar number of cars in here. The equipment is very, very similar. Some of it is even the same equipment that we used all those years ago. When we start a car restoration, the first thing we do is take everything off the car, right the way down to a bare frame. We then shot blast the frame, like this car over here has been done. That will get rid of all the rust and all the corrosion. Once we've done that, we can then make brand new repair panels or complete panels and fit them onto the frame. None of the panels on these earlier cars will be interchangeable. They have to be made and fitted to the car.
When the people at Aston Martin say their cars are handmade, they're not kidding. As a metal fabricator, it was pretty exciting for me to see these craftsmen working with these materials and these tools at this level. Good welds.
Do you have people here that have been working here, not since the beginning, but pretty close?
Yeah, certainly. It's not unusual at all to find 40, 50 years even, you know, in terms of one person working here all their life, really.
Or
and
to-
quite
yeah.
often on cars that they built originally.
I was just gonna say, to find a technician that originally built
Yeah.
the car and then it comes back 40,
Yeah,
50 years later and they're like, I
absolutely.
built this car.
Yeah, and quite often they'll know the car right the way through its life.
That was awesome.
The craftsmanship that goes into each and every one of these cars.
Oh God, I have so much more appreciation for this thing. It was cool too to talk to some of those guys working in there, like.
They offered me a job.
They did?
Yeah.
What?
Because they were talking about how hard it is to find somebody that actually has those skill sets these days.
I'm not gonna count them, but I read that it has 1 million stitches inside this car.
In one car.
In one car. Everything feels nice too. It's incredibly supple. And I don't use that word often. I don't think I have anything in my life that uses that word. How's it feel driving?
I love it. It's like a touring car with some serious balls.
Since the DB2 was introduced in 1950, Aston Martin has designed their cars to be grand touring vehicles. Comfortable and luxurious, but sporty and powerful, meant to sustain high speeds for long journeys. Of course, we didn't come all the way to England just to see the view from the highway.
Oh, okay.
Good Lord, look at this itty-bitty road.
I feel like I'm gonna hit something over there.
Man, oh God, yeah, you're tight over here for sure. Whoa, really tight, wow.
I feel like I'm gonna put pinstripes from the bushes, and if there's
Oh
a
my
curb
God.
hiding underneath those, I'm screwed.
I gotta close my eyes. I don't think I can sit over here.
Is it that bad? I did one of these. Like, I don't know if I want to cover my eyes or not.
You can't help it. Obviously, this place was made for horses, and they never upgraded. Oh, Jesus. This is terrifying. Like, there's just not enough road. England, you need wider roads. For God's sake, please. So we're at Brands Hatch right now to run the Indy circuit with our Vanquish. In typical English fashion, it's raining, of course, which means the track is wet today, which means we need to be a little bit more careful out there. And you can really feel it. I felt it right away on the first turn. Dropping into the turn. Getting a little squirrely for sure. Oh yeah, I got squirrely. Too much. Way too much on that one. Player's got way too much power.
Woo! Traction control's on, but it's track is definitely wet.
Got to get used to the feel here and just letting it open up. Oh my God. That's insane. Whoa. Oh, baby. Oh, wow. How can you not love this?
Getting around this track in that car is super fast. There was a Porsche right in front of me. I was able to overtake him right away.
Oh, that drop, you can just feel it in your gut. Oh, that's so much fun.
Definitely, power to weight ratio on this car is insanity.
Look at that. Straight away, we're bopped up to 101 in a matter of seconds. This car has a 0 to 100 in 8 seconds, just over 8 seconds. You got a carbon fiber body and this much power in a vehicle like this. I mean, it doesn't take much. And if you get on the gas too early in these turns, that butt just comes around so quickly.
I mean, the power in this car is pretty gnarly. And I think it's actually so gnarly that it's too much for a track like this, especially on a wet day. I didn't like it in the corners. I felt like I was supposed to be drifting around every single corner. Woo! This, I don't know. Maybe I'm overdoing it, which, you know, I do have a lead foot, which we all know I have a lead foot. Totally okay.
Knowing what I know about this car, it's a little bit less fun out here on this track because it's raining a little harder now. And I know that if I am not precise with this thing, it's going to punish me.
It's a touring car. You know, this is a grand touring car. While I'm enjoying it, I think I'd rather have it out on the open road.
Smooth is fast, brake in a straight line, take that turn, smooth is fast, keep the weight distribution there. And we got somebody spun out over here, it looks like.
Brake yellow. Copy that. Well, people are spinning out all over the
Bring
place.
it in, Jessi. It looks pretty gnarly out there.
Coming in for a landing, guys. Coming in for a landing. As much as I love that power, I do. I think I want it out on the open road.
I'm shaking. I'm shaking. Oh my God. It's beautiful.
You know what's awesome, Patrick?
What?
Today,
It was awesome.
we got to drive this car in so many different ways.
We got on the highway, we got on tiny, tiny little roads.
We got on the racetrack.
We got to learn about the heritage of this beautiful vehicle.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, if someone ever hands you the keys to an Aston Martin,
Say yes.
take this.
Say yes. Yes, 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 yes. Well, I'd say that we accomplished everything we set out to do in this car, and I feel really good about giving it back to Q with a much better understanding of what Aston Martin is all about.
I've got a great respect for the brand and an even greater appreciation for what this bad boy can do.
After cruising through the streets and ringing it out on the track, mission accomplished. And we can officially check driving Aston Martin off our list.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.